Chapter 5 Light Energy. Learning Objectives. Reflection of Light. Laws of Reflection. Reflective Index. Prism. Dispersion of Light. Spherical mirrors. Convex mirror. Concave mirror. Uses of spherical mirrors. You have studied about light and its various properties in previous classes. You studied that light travels in a straight line. It gets reflected on striking a plane mirror. You also studied about transparent objects, laws of reflection, nature and size of images, formed and lateral inversion. In this unit we shall study about another properties of light, that is reflection of light. We studied that light travels in a straight line in a transparent medium like air, glass, water, etc. But what happens when it passes from one transparent material, say air to glass or air to water? Does it still continue to travel in a straight line? We shall discuss this phenomenon now. Look at the figure given below where a pencil is dipped in water in a beaker. It appears to be bent at the point where it comes in contact with water. This effect is due to phenomenon of reflection. Reflection of light. Ion of light occurs due to difference in different media. When a ray of light traveling in a transparent medium strikes a boundary of another transparent medium, a part of the wave is reflected and a part enters the second medium. The ray that enters the second medium is deviated from its straight path and is bent at the boundary as shown in the figure given below. Thus, we can define reflection as the phenomenon in which a ray of light traveling from one medium to the other bends from its path at the surface of separation of two media. Rules of reflection. We know that velocity of light is maximum in air, in fact in vacuum, and it is less in glass, plastic, water, kerosene oil, etc. The medium in which velocity is more is called optically rarer medium, and the medium in which velocity is less is called optically denser medium. Light travels faster in air. Its speed in air is 3 multiplied 10 to the power 8 meter per second. In water it is 2.25 multiplied 10 to the power 8 meter per second. And in glass it is 1.8 multiplied 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Thus, air is considered optically rarer as compared to glass and water. Water is optically rarer as compared to glass. In other words, glass is optically denser than both water and air. Keeping this in mind, we consider the following cases. Case 1. When a ray of light enters obliquely from an optically rarer medium to an optically denser medium. In this case, the ray of light bends towards the normal in optically denser medium as shown in the figure given alongside. Case 2. When a ray of light enters obliquely from an optically denser medium to an optically rarer medium, in this case, the ray of light bends away from the normal as shown in the figure given below. Case 3. When a ray of light enters an optical medium from another optical medium, making a right angle at the surface of separation of two media, it does not deviate from its path and goes straight irrespective of the fact whether the second medium is rarer or denser with respect to the first medium. This is shown in the figure below. Terms related to reflection. We shall learn now the terms related to reflection in the figure given on previous page. AB is the boundary of the separation of two media, in this case air and glass. The ray PO falling on AB is called incident ray. The ray OR in the second medium has suffered refraction and is called refracted ray. The point O is called the point of incidence. An imaginary perpendicular line at point of incidence is called normal. The angle PON which the incident ray makes with normal is called angle of incidence. The angle ROM which the refracted ray makes with the normal is called angle of refraction. Angle of incidence is generally denoted by angle I and angle of refraction by angle R. Effects of refraction of light in daily life. Now we are in a position to understand the reason for bending of the pencil when dipped in water, as Discussed in the beginning of the lesson, a pencil dipped in water obliquely appears bent due to refraction of light as it travels from a denser medium to a rarer medium. As studied earlier in case second, when light travels from denser to a rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. Here two rays of light traveling from say the tip of the pencil C towards the observer bend away from the normal. To the observer they appear to come from a point C. Above the point C as shown in the figure, they bend away from normal because they are traveling from water, denser medium to air, rarer medium. Similarly, all points of the pencil dipping in water appear to be raised correspondingly as shown by dotted line, and the pencil appears to be bent. The raising of coin in water. Take a beaker and place a coin in its bottom. Observe the position of coin. Now pour water in the beaker up to half its capacity and observe the coin. The coin will appear to be raised to the observer, though it is lying in the bottom. This phenomenon is also explained on the principle of refraction of light. The rays of light originating from the coin bend away from normal as they are moving from a denser to a rarer medium. When these bent rays reach the eye of an observer, they give an impression that they are coming from a point slightly higher than where the coin is lying. Thus, the coin appears to be raised. Similarly, a pond of water or a swimming pool appears to be shallower. Laws of refraction. There are two laws of refraction of light. First, the incident ray. The normal at the point of incidence and the refracted ray all lies in the same plane. Second, for a given pair of medium, the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is always constant. That is, sine I upon sine R is equals to constant is equals to n. This constant is known as refractive index of the denser medium with respect to the rarer medium. This law was started by W. Snell and is known as Snell's law. Refractive index. The phenomenon of refraction with light passes from one medium to another medium takes place due to difference of speed of light in the two media. Light travels at minimum speed in vacuum 3 multiplied 10 to the power 8 meter per second. In any other material, its speed is less than that in vacuum. We can define refractive index n of a medium as the ratio of speed of light in vacuum to the speed of light in that medium. N is equals to speed of light in vacuum upon speed of light in medium. Since the refractive index is a ratio of similar quantities, it has no units. However, it may be noted that since speed of light is more in vacuum as compared to any other medium, so vacuum of refractive index of any medium will always be gathered that one. So value of refractive index of any medium will always be greater that one. The greater the refractive index of a medium, greater is the bending of light in that medium. Refractive index of some materials. Material refractive index. First, air 1.0003. Second, water 1.33. Third, glass 1.5. Fourth, alcohol 1.36. Fifth, diamond 2.45. Sixth, ice 1.31. Seventh, kerosene 1.44. Eighth, benzene 1.5. Since diamond has maximum refractive index, light undergoes maximum deviation as it passes through diamond. Refraction of light through a parallel-sided glass slab. When a ray of light passes through a glass slab, the ray emerging out of it is parallel to the incident ray. This was be clear from the following matter. The following figure shows a ray of light passing through a glass slab ABC obliquely. Let the ray of light PM fall on surface AB. Let KMQ be the normal at the point of incidence. Since ray PM enters from air to glass at point M, it suffers a deviation in path and bends towards normal. It travels along MN in the glass slab at the surface CD. It strikes at N and emerges out of the slab into the air. Now let L and T be the normal at the point of incidence. For ray Mn traveling inside the glass slab, the ray comes out at N and travels along Nr. Since it is entering from a denser medium, that is glass, to a rarer medium, that is air, it bends away from the normal. Nr is called emergent ray and TNR is angle of emergence, angle E. Now it has been found practically that angle of incidence, angle I, angle PMK is always equal to angle E, angle TNR. Thus the emergent ray NR is always parallel to the incident ray PM. Thus, on passing through a glass slab, an incident ray is always parallel to emergent ray. True, it is slightly displaced. Though it is slightly displaced, the distance d between the two is called lateral displacement. Refraction of light through prism. We have studied that when light enters a glass slab, the emergent ray is parallel to the incident ray. The reason for this is that the opposite surfaces of the glass slab are parallel to each other. What should have happened to the opposite faces were not parallel. That is, they were inclined at some angle. We shall discuss this with the help of a glass prism, where the faces are inclined. A glass prism is a block of glass whose base is an equilateral triangle and the faces of the prism are rectangular. See the above figure. The angle between the two plane rectangular surfaces is called angle of prism. A prism may have more than 3 faces. Example, there could be 4, 5, 6 or more faces. But the face on which light is incident must not be parallel to the face from which light emerges. Now let us study a situation where light passes through an equilateral prism. Let us consider a cross-section ABC of an equilateral prism where a light ray PQ is incident on its faces AB at an angle I. The ray on entering the glass prism is refracted and travels towards QR in the prism. This refracted ray strikes the face AC of the prism at R and again suffers refraction as it travels from glass to air. This emergent ray travels towards RS, making an angle of emergence, angle E. When SR is extended, it meets the extended ray PQ at M, making an angle D, as shown in the figure. This is called angle of deviation. Now if P is the angle of prism, then it has been experimentally found that angle I plus angle E is equals to angle P plus angle D. Angle of incidence plus angle of emergence is equal to angle of prism plus angle of deviation. You will observe that the emergent ray is bent towards the base of the prism. It is an inherent property of the prism that it bends rays of light towards its base. This property is used in making lenses. Dispersion of light. A great scientist, Newton, passed a narrow beam of light through a prism and found that the light had been split into a band of 7 colors, which as violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Vibgyor, Vibgyor. White color sunlight is the composition of these 7 colors. The band of these 7 colors is known as spectrum. The process of splitting of white light into 7 colors is known as dispersion of light. The reason for dispersion of light is that each color has its 2 characteristics of different bending properties. When the normal, this bending property is different for different colors of light. The red color deviates the least and violet color deviates the most. This is due to the reason that red color light has maximum speed and violet color light the minimum. If another identical prism is placed upside down near the first prism, that these 7 colors can enter into the second prism, then you will find that all the 7 colors are merged together and white light is obtained as shown in the following figure. Rainbow. You all must have seen rainbow in the sky after the rain has stopped during daytime. Rainbow is formed due to dispersion of sunlight by tiny spherical droplets of water present in the atmosphere. These tiny droplets act like small prisms and disperse the white sunlight passing through them. The emerging light splits into 7 colors and we see a rainbow in the sky. Spherical mirrors. The mirrors having their reflection surface in the form of a sphere is called spherical mirrors. The polished reflecting surface is a part of a sphere. To understand it better, suppose you cut a rubber ball as shown. You will get a spherical part of the ball PQR, which is a piece of the rubber ball. Similarly, if we have a sphere of glass and cut a part of it as above and polish it, we get a spherical mirror. Spherical mirrors are of 2 types, depending upon the surface which is to be used as the reflecting surface. These are first, convex mirror and second, concave mirror. Convex mirror. In a convex mirror, the inside surface is silver coated and reflections occur on the outside surface. Concave mirror. In a concave mirror, the outside surface is silver coated and the reflections occur on the inside surface of the mirror. Terms related to spherical mirrors. First, pole. The central point of a spherical mirror is called the pole of the mirror. It is denoted by P. Second, center of curvature. The center of the hollow sphere of which the mirror is a part is called center of curvature. It is denoted by C. Third, radius of curvature. The radius of the hollow sphere of which mirror is a part is called the radius of curvature. It is denoted by R. Fourth, principal axis. The straight line passing through pole P and center of curvature C of the mirror is called principal axis. Fifth, principal focus or focal point. It is a point on the principal axis at which all the rays parallel to principal axis meet after reflection or appear to come from it. It is denoted by F. In the case of concave mirror, all rays parallel to principal axis after reflection converge at this point. So a concave mirror has a real focus which lies in front of it. In the case of a convex mirror, all rays of light parallel to principal axis after reflection diverge and appear to meet at the principal focus. The focus lies behind the mirror and the rays appear to come from behind the mirror. Sixth, focal length. The distance between the pole and the principal focus is called the focal length of the spherical mirror. It is denoted by F. It has also been noted that in a spherical mirror, focal length is always half of the radius of curvature. F is equals to R upon 2. R upon 2 or R is equals to 2F. Drawing ray diagrams. To locate the position and know the nature and size of the image of an object, we draw a ray diagram. Through an infinite number of light rays originate from a point of an object, we shall discuss 4 possible instant rays, out of which only 2 rays are chosen. For knowing the image of an object, we shall also assume that the object is placed on the left side of the mirror and is kept on the principal axis, perpendicular to the axis. Let us now see how these rays get reflected in spherical mirrors. First, a ray traveling parallel to principal axis of a concave mirror. After reflection passes through the focus of the mirror in a convex mirror, or the ray traveling parallel to principal axis, the reflected ray appears to diverge from the focus of the mirror. Second, a ray passing through the principal focus of a concave mirror gets reflected parallel to the principal axis. In a convex mirror, ray traveling in the direction of principal focus after reflection becomes parallel to the principal axis. Third, a ray passing through the center of curvature or towards center of curvature in the case of spherical mirrors retraces its path after reflection, travels back in the same direction. Fourth, a ray of light incident at the pole of a spherical mirror gets reflected on the opposite side of the principal axis, making an angle with the principal axis equal to the angle of incidence. Image formation in a concave mirror. The nature, size and position of the image of an object formed in a concave mirror depends on the position of the object placed in front of the mirror. We shall study the image formation under the following 6 positions of an object. Case 1. When the object is at infinity. In this case, image formed is real and inverted. It is very small, diminished in size and is formed at the focus. Case 2. When the object is placed beyond the center of curvature. In this case, the image formed is real and inverted. It is diminished in size and formed between the center of curvature and focus. Case 3. When the object is placed at the center of curvature. In this case, the image formed is real and inverted. It is of the same size and is formed at the center of curvature. Case 4. When the object is placed between focus and center of curvature. In this case, image formed is real and inverted. It is large in size than the size of the object and is formed beyond the center of curvature. Case 5. When the object is placed at the focus. In this case, image formed is real and inverted and highly enlarged. The image is formed at infinity. Case 6. When the object is placed between the focus and pole of the mirror. In this case, image formed is virtual and erect. It is magnified and is formed behind the mirror. Image formation by a convex mirror. The rays of light falling on a convex mirror diverge after reflection and thus do not actually meet anywhere. When we extend the path of these reflected rays, they appear to come from a position behind the mirror. The image formation by a convex mirror is always virtual, erect and smaller in size than the object. It is formed behind the mirror at a point between the focus F and pole P. Uses of spherical mirrors. Uses of concave mirrors. First, concave mirrors are used as shaving mirrors and makeup mirrors to magnify the image of face. The object is placed between the pole and the focus. Second, they are used by dentists and doctors to see the magnified image of a teeth or other body parts. The object is placed between the pole and the focus. Third, these are used in headlights of the metro vehicles, searchlight and torchlight, etc. Here the source of light is placed at the focus to get a parallel beam of light. Fourth, these are used in solar cookers to converge sun rays on the food to be cooked. Fifth, these are also used in astronomical telescopes. Uses of convex mirror. First, these are used in street light as reflections to spread light over a large area. Second, they are used by drivers as rear view mirrors. They form erect and diminished images. These are used by security personnel and departmental stores as vigilance mirrors to keep a watch over a large area. Summary. When light traveling from one medium to another transparent medium strikes the surface of separation of two media, it bends. This bending of light is called refraction. The medium in which speed of light is more as compared to other medium is called optically rarer medium, while the latter in which speed of light is less is called optically denser medium. When light is incident perpendicularly at a medium, the angle of incidence is 0 degree and it does not bend in the second medium. It travels undeviated in the second medium. The ratio of the sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is a constant. This is called Snell's law. This is also called refractive index and is represented by n. N is equals to sine I upon sine r is equals to constant. Refractive index of a medium is also defined as the ratio of speed of light in vacuum to the speed of light in that medium. The greater the refractive index of a medium, the greater will be bending of light in that medium. The phenomenon of splitting of light into its constituent colors is called dispersion of light. The band of colors is called spectrum. A rainbow is formed due to dispersion of sunlight by tiny droplets of water in the atmosphere which act like prism. A prism is a glass block having a triangle cross-section and formed by 3 rectangular surfaces. A mirror in which reflecting surface is spherical is called spherical mirror. Concave mirror and convex mirror are spherical mirror. Concave mirror forms images of different nature depending upon the distance between the mirror and the object.